Hi, I'm QDC. What we're going to build today is Verlinden Productions Taking the Pillbox WWII. This particular kit is an entirely resin kit. There is no plastic inside, and so this is going to be my first time building a resin kit. Now the reason why I bought this particular kit was because of the movie Saving Private Ryan. For those of you who've never seen the movie Saving Private Ryan, it's a World War II movie that was made during the 1990s, and basically one of the most graphic scenes of the particular movie was at the beginning, where was during the Allied invasions of World War II during D-Day, where the Allies invaded Normandy for the first time. And in that particular scene, there was a horrific graphic part where there was a German machine gun pillbox nest shooting at Allied soldiers, and they're trying to knock out the pillbox. And so when I saw this particular model, it really reminded me of that particular movie, and so I bought it just for that reason alone. Now I heard that from my research about Verlinden Productions, I understood that it's either a good company or a bad company. So I'm not quite sure this is going to be a good kit or not. So let's go ahead and find out for ourselves if this is going to be a fun kit to build. Let's go take a look inside this box. We have the pillbox, the roof of the pillbox, and the figures, all loosely packaged in a plastic bag. These are not made out of plastic, but they're made out of resin, and there is no instruction sheet. Okay, so this kit doesn't have instructions in here. So this is going to be a little small challenge in order for me to actually build this kit without instructions. But since this kit doesn't have a lot of parts in it, it's fairly easy for me to actually figure out how to do this. So take a look at it and see how I actually figure out how to actually put this kit together. I placed all the parts into 4 separate groups. This one here, that one there, this one here, and that one over there. And the reason why I did that is because this model kit does not include a instruction sheet. So I had to take a look at the pictures in order for me to figure out how to put these figures together, all these figures and the bunker together. Now, this is my first time actually using resin parts, and one of the things I found out about resin parts is that the details are exquisite. They're very crisp compared to the traditional plastic figures that I'm pointing at right now. Now, since this is actually made out of resin, I cannot use ordinary plastic mold cement like the one I'm pointing at right now to glue the parts together. Instead, I must use super glue. This is my first time working with resin parts, and what I understand so far is that tools that I use for working with plastic model parts can also work well with resin parts as well, at least so far. What I'm holding at in my right hand is a sprue cutter, and I'm going to use that to trim off the excess resin off this figure. I want to show you a drawback about this particular kit. Right now you're looking at the MG34 machine gun, and as you can well see, it's actually bent. And you can tell because the bottom portion right here is perfectly straight and flush, but this is not. It's actually bent. So I was looking around my spare kit box and I found a replacement. I found an MG42, and this is going to be my replacement right here. It's time for me to work on the bunker, and right now I'm inserting a metal plate on the wall of the bunker, and if you can see this, it's not perfectly flush. And the reason why it's not perfectly flush is because there's excess resin right on top of it right here. So I'm going to use the end of my hobby knife and I'm going to scrape off the excess resin. It's now a good fit. Alright, so I just completed the kit, and well, painted the kit before painting, by the way. So what I thought about this kit so far is that this kit is easy to build, and there wasn't any problems about building it whatsoever. So I want to tell you more about the kit, so just take a look and see what you think, what my thoughts are. This is the model kit, all completed before painting, and as you can well see, it looks pretty good to me. The details for resin kits so far, from my impressions, is that it's very, very good. Very well detailed, very crisp for all three figures, very realistic. And as you notice on the German figure, you notice that there's no head. And the reason why I didn't put the head on yet is because it's really hard for me to actually put on, paint the head while he has his hand in front of it. So I want to put the head on later after painting. And the bunker itself is very, very nice, very well detailed. And it's very, very good. No complaints, really. It's time for me to paint the kit, and I'm going to start with the figures first. It's time for me to paint the highlights. I want to have your attention focus onto this old drawing. And these two men and this woman are a drawing from the 1930s, and I want to have you focus your attention onto this man's trousers. The artist has drawn a light source that was coming from the left of this man, and as you can see, there's a seam, and because of the light source, it made the right part of his pants dark, of the seam right here, and then on the left of the seam you see a very light color right there to highlight, and then the highlight gradually darkens and it stops, and then it goes to another highlight over there. I'm going to imitate that onto my model. I just took in my brush and I'm going to paint the highlight. I'm going to put some shadows. Going back to the picture, you notice that since there's a light source coming right here, it's casting shadows onto this side of the pants because there's creases right here. And if you also notice, there's more creases right over here, and I was also casting shadows as well, and right over here as well. I'm going to copy that and put that onto my figure. So I'm taking my brush and I'm very carefully painting the area where I want to have the shadows. I just finished painting the face on this figure and I like it a lot. There are many different shades of skin tone, and I painted the eyeballs very realistically, and so I like this face a lot. given the fact that this face is about the size of a pea, it's really amazing. I wish I could have showed you exactly how I painted this face, but I couldn't do it. And the reason why is because for me to show you how I painted the face, I have to paint looking behind a viewfinder of a camera, and I couldn't do that. It's really almost next to impossible for me to actually paint a face behind a viewfinder of a camera. So instead, I'm going to tell you with words. Right now you're looking at an old drawing of an advertisement, and the way this artist drew this man's face, I copied exactly how he did it onto my figure. You notice that there's the darker shade right here onto the left of the nose. That's because there is a light source onto the right. You notice that there's darker shade on his eyebrows, on the top of his eyes, and even on the mouth. And then there's light highlights on the upper lip, the cheek, and on the chin. And I copy that exactly onto my figure. Here are all three figures all painted up and ready to go, and I like them a lot, all three figures. The German figure with him having expression being shocked by the explosion is pretty good. This guy throwing the hand grenade looks very good, and his friend looked pretty good as well. All three figures took me hours, literally hours, for me to actually paint, but it was well worth it. It's time for me to paint my bunker. I just installed my homemade hood, and if you plan to use enamel spray paints like I do, it's always a good idea to actually install a hood so you can actually have all the vapors escape out into the open if you're going to use enamel spray paints like I do. So my first step is I'm going to paint the entire model with a coat of primer. I'm going to give my model shadows, and to do that I'm going to paint my entire model black. I just removed the hood because from here on out I'm going to use acrylic paints, no more enamel spray paints. So right now I'm going to use my airbrush and paint the main color for the concrete. I'm going to give my entire bunker a wash. What you see right here is a dilution of mineral spirits and black artist oil paint, and I just simply mix it up, and I'm going to put this on the entire model to give it a wash. I'm going to do some dry brushing. What you see right here is a lighter color of the ground, and dry brushing is just basically giving highlights to the main color. So I'm taking my brush and I'm basically taking some of the paint, then taking most of the paint out, and then very lightly brushed onto the model to give highlights. I want to simulate loose dirt, so right now I'm pointing at a basically a cup of towel grout, and I'm going to simply sprinkle the towel grout all over the model, and then I'm going to simply just take out the towel grout out by dropping it like that, and that's the final result. I went over to my local craft store and bought this particular wooden base. I stained it twice and it looks very nice. And right now I'm going to glue my model kit onto the base. I'm putting on some construction adhesive right here in the center. This construction adhesive is something I bought from a local hardware store. Then I'm going to just simply put it on. Okay, so I just completed the entire model kit. I glued it, I painted it, I weathered it, and now it's time for me to tell you my thoughts about this completed model kit from beginning to painting to the end. Take a look. This is the completed model kit from beginning to end, and I like it a lot. The entire kit looks very, very nice, and as you can well see, it's very realistic looking. And what I like about it the most is are the figures, really. Now, these two guys look very realistic, and you know, right here where you can see the guy just taking a look inside the machine gun nest, he looks pretty darn realistic. I like that a lot, this guy right here. He's the best figure. And also on the inside, you know, you see the German man being shocked by the explosion, and he looks very realistic as well. Now, I know I'm nitpicking, but there is one small thing I don't like about this kit, and that's this figure right here. His helmet doesn't look that realistic to me, but other than that, this kit is really, really good. Highly recommend it. Easy to build, but the only challenge is really just to paint the figures, and that will be the greatest challenge. That completes the model kit. Now, this kit was actually easy to build, so the only challenge is really just to paint it. Now, for those of you who are maybe a little bit shy about painting model figures, I'm with you, quite frank with you. It took me a lot of practice to actually make these particular figures look as good as they are right now. And even right now, I don't think they're actually that good. So for those of you who are kind of wanting to make and paint model figures, but was really shy about doing it, my advice to you is don't be shy. Practice makes perfect, and you know, if it doesn't look exactly the way you want it to, well, who cares? I mean, like, you know, it's for your own enjoyment, really. I mean, the reason why I built these kits wasn't really because I want to please you, the viewer here. I mean, it's great that I am pleasing you in that particular way, but in the end, it's all about really for me to have fun, and I'm just sharing my enjoyment of making model kits with you right now. So really, if you really want to give it a try, just go ahead and try it, and you know, and it takes a lot of practice, really, and like the old saying is, you know, as the old saying goes, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So what you're going to see next is a video slideshow of my entire finished model kit. But before I go, as always, just because I put this video here on YouTube, it doesn't make me a model kit expert. I'm not an expert. I'm just a regular guy just like you. So I hope this kit would actually, hope this video, excuse me, will help you make a model kit of your own. And it could be any type of model kit. It doesn't have to be a military model kit like I make it. It could be a model train, a model ship, a model tank, or even an automobile, really. It's all about having fun, folks. So, build a kit. Have some fun. I'm QDC. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.